Welcome to the Third Knock podcast. I'm Nathan Olsen, and I don't have a guest today. Or do I? No, I don't. Okay, let's get back into it. So, a business owner showed me an invoice last month. It was about $1,800 a month for 14 months. That's what their contract was. We pulled up their website and kind of looked at see what had been done, and they hadn't even set the titles or metas. They haven't really done anything since the first couple weeks that they hired them. That's over about $23,000 for basically nothing. Here's the thing. I run a marketing agency. This is my industry. And today I'm going to show you the 5 ways agencies rip off small business owners from the inside. Some of my peers are going to hate this episode. Let's get into it. Real quick, before we start, I've spent years doing SEO, local SEO, and website design for small businesses. I'm not here to tell you every agency is a scam. A lot of them aren't. Mine isn't. But I have cleaned up after enough bad ones to know the patterns by heart. So for each of these 5, I'm going to give you the scam and then the exact question to ask that exposes it. Here's number 1, the proprietary dashboard. So every month you get this beautiful report. Impressions are up, visibility score is up, you're ranking for 40 keywords. And you look at it and you think, okay, I guess that's good. Here's what that report is hiding. They're vanity metrics, impressions, visibility, rankings for junk terms. What's never in the report is phone calls, revenue, leads. But this is important because a lot of business owners now, they seem to exclude their SEO guy sometimes, which he should be part of the equation. He should be part of the reporting. He should be part of the action. Basically, he should know what's going on. He should know if you're running ads, if you're doing billboards, because there's a lot that can go wrong, especially if he's in charge of your website. The fact that some people are leaving them out of the loop is a bad thing. So they can't give you a real report if they don't have access to these real things. Generally, what a real report looks like is it'll show how many direct requests from the Google My Business, how many phone calls, and basically what calls converted over to real clients. Most of the clients that I work with are lawyers or law firms. So they usually use like Clio or they have their own CRM to track revenue. We go over the numbers, we go over things every month, and that helps us pinpoint what pages are not performing well and what pages are, and what Google Maps is performing well or what locations. There's a lot of data that we have to jump into. So here's your question. Next report you get, send back 1 sentence. Which of these numbers made me money last month? If they can't answer that and you've kept them in the loop, and they can't answer it in plain English, that is your answer. Retainer prices for basically autopilot work. So now, number 2, month 1, your agency does real work. You can see it. Things are happening. Month 2, month 3, month 14. The invoice keeps coming. The work stopped a long time ago. Activities versus deliverability. Agencies love the word deliverables or activities and things of that nature. Generally, we try to log all this in the CRM. Some clients are really hard to get on board, especially ones that have been around a long time before I pivoted to this transition. We were sending just ranking reports, but we felt that wasn't intuitive enough with AI and things that are changing. So a lot of agencies like to do what is called just grunt work to make you feel like you're doing good. Generic AI blog posts. What ongoing work should look like month to month should be kind of like a strategized, these are the pages we're going to work on. These are the rankings that you were trying to focus on. This is where we've put the budget to try to get you improvement in these areas. And then when you meet on your quarterly or your weekly meetings, then you go over your numbers and we pinpoint where the jobs came from. You got to really set up your UTM code. You got to set up your Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. And most people get this wrong. And then you got to kind of use like CallRail and different things as well. And if you're doing billboards, there's a strategy for that as well. And it's kind of like SEO guys are kind of going away. It's becoming more of a marketing role because just SEO alone isn't going to do it. They need to know the numbers. They need to know what's happening, especially with AI overviews and AI search. It's hard to pinpoint where the money goes. So at the end of the month, what did you actually ship this month? Make them show you. And then you can see what they did. If they're hesitant or they don't have nothing to show you, then you got your answer, right? So the ripoff number 3, you don't own your stuff. That's right. You don't own your website. You don't own your phone number. You don't own anything. So you're paying somebody to build up their own basically phone number, website, all these things. And when you cancel with them, they're going to try to sell it to you for some ridiculous price, even though you paid them to build it. So yeah, it should make your stomach turn. Right now today, do you actually own your website? Are you sure? These are things that you need to know because for a lot of you listening, the honest answer is no. and you don't even know it yet. And when you do find out, it'll be time when you're leaving the agency or whatever, and they're going to hold it hostage and they're going to pull all these games. I've seen it all the way down to sabotaging the site to, man, taking the phone numbers and sending the leads to a competitor to try to get you back. But who goes back to that? Who would want to work with them? You can't trust them. You can't trust somebody with that mindset and who does these things. So always ask, do you own it? If they say no, you don't own it, you do not want to be paying them to build their own thing. Unless you have some kind of agreement, like a percentage style or something of that nature, don't go into an agreement to where they own everything. Always keep everything under you. You keep your domain in your registrar. You keep your hosting in your hosting. You keep your phone numbers in your CallRail account or whatever you use, Twilio or whatever you use for call tracking. Own everything. Don't let them own your Google Map listing either. Make sure you're adding them as a manager, not an owner. Make sure that you're adding them into everything you own. You're adding to the website, not the other way around. So make sure that they don't hold your stuff hostage. So that's it. It's sometimes they'll sell you a website that's a proprietary platform, meaning that it's a custom platform. So they may say, oh, no, you own it. But when you leave them, what happens? What if you need to update it? Can you even update it? Because they've designed this platform. So try to make sure that you're under something popular like a WordPress or at least a common programming language like HTML. Make sure that it's a real platform, not one that they own or invented, because that's just a way to keep you stuck or keep you from owning that website when you leave. And then you got to pay somebody to build you a new website, which you may anyway, because a lot of the times these companies, they do shady things. Don't let them put your Google profile under their email, the ad accounts, the domain, the analytics, register them to you. That way, if you use Microsoft Clarity, I had a client and they held everything hostage. So he paid us to whip him out a website as quickly as we could. It took us about a week, and he did own the domain, thankfully, which is a huge thing because the domain, that's where all your backlinks point, right? So backlinks and people talking about you online all go to that domain. If you don't own that, you lost all of the work you paid for, everything. It's gone. So keep that in mind. Don't ever work with an agency like that. So here's your homework. I want you to do this week, even if you love your agency. 4 things, write these down. 1, your domain. Do you have the registrar login? 2, your Google business profile. Are you listed as the primary owner? 3, your website hosting. Whose account is it on? 4, Google Analytics. Do you have admin access? If the answer to any of those is I don't know, you have a problem. Go find out, because you need to check on these things. It's very, very important. And it doesn't mean, as an example, my agency, we offer free hosting, but I'm willing to give you any of my past clients. I am probably like the easiest firm to exit with. We help you pack your files up. We help you move your domain. We give you 30 to 60 days. A lot of times if you email me and you're like, I need a little bit more time, we even extend that. Even when you're not paying us, like we still host. Look, man, we're business owners. Business owner. I'm trying to help people. I don't want to just shut your stuff off. Maybe we're not a good fit. I mean, that's fine if we're not a good fit, but to shut your stuff off and to hurt your business it's just malicious. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you should at least be gracious enough to offer money to that agency who's extending their hosting or whatever services, but it shouldn't be very much. And with us, we just want an easy transition over into your new role. But a lot of agencies, that's not the case. They're going to hold everything hostage while you're on their host. So make sure that if you signed a contract or they have some kind of agreement that you got to give them 30 days in advance. They kind of sneak that in sometimes too. And that's not a bad thing. Usually a lot of agencies do the 30 days in advance as time to help you transition over to the new agency. I don't have such policy, but it's nice when people give you a heads up. Definitely. It's very appreciated, especially for those of us who are actually care and trying. But even being great at something and trying your hardest, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it's not what they expect. Some people prefer to just pay for ads. Sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes there's a board. Sometimes there's different people involved. Sometimes they want to go a different direction. Sometimes they go out of business. Sometimes there's a merger. Sometimes there's so many different scenarios. Another thing that I hear from people, your agency calls up all excited, great news that you're number 1 on Google. So you need to ask them number 1 for exactly what, because sometimes they rank pure junk and then they mark it as a win. Sometimes, like as an example, some agencies, they make guarantees. We'll rank you on the top of Google #1 for certain keywords, for 3 or 5 keywords or whatever, and then you find out it's your business name or it's a keyword that you probably already ranked for. So just make sure, like I said, one of the red flags is that they guarantee page 1 rankings, because nobody can honestly promise you that unless they own Google, and even then it would probably be illegal. So I wouldn't suggest to go with an agency that has guarantees. I know it sounds like the safer way, but it's not. Like I just gave you an example of one of the things that some of them do. They show you 3 keywords ranking #1, but they're nothing anybody searches. Sometimes it's advisable to use tools and search things on your own as well. See search volume and ask them questions like, how many people actually search this every month? And how do you know? If they get squirmy, you just found the cherry picking. That means that they're using keywords that people probably don't even search. Ripoff number 5. Let's see. The last one. So $2,000 a month for SEO, social, and ads. 1 line on the invoice. No breakdown of what it includes. No kind of like even if it was attached document or contract showing you what you're getting. So how much of that is actually going to ads? So if they tell you that they're doing ads, they need to break everything down for you. If you don't know, well, that's the point. If you don't know how much they're spending on ads or how much they're spending on SEO or how much they're spending on website design, that's kind of a problem unless you have some kind of agreed upon X amount of work per month. But there should be some kind of mutual agreement of what they're working on. But sometimes they just hide hidden fees. So like as an example, they will put that you spent $10,000 on ads, but then you go into the ads account. This is another reason why it's important you own the ads account. So then you can go in the ads account and you can actually see how much money they spent on ads. So let's say that they only spent $3,000. Why are you getting marked up $7,000 for the ads? So these are all things that unfortunately you have to ask you have to ask questions, because agencies, some of them like to play games. They mark up on media buys, they mark up whatever. You should be checking basically what your agreement is and if they're following through. So you should have direct access to your ad account. So then you can see the real spend with your own eyes, right? Right. Makes sense. It's too bad that there's agencies out there that make these things have to be this way. So if they push back on either one of those, you having control of the ads account, well, now you know why. Or if you wanted to break down for the ads, because you can definitely get the breakdown for the ads. A lot of people, when they run the ads, they will actually find ones that aren't real jobs or real inquiries, and then they request a refund from Google as well. So that can also save you some money if that's the case. But a lot of these agencies, they'll do these things. So the flip side, now I don't want you walking away thinking everyone in my industry is a crook. So let me flip it. Here's what a good agency looks like. 3 signs. 1, they report in dollars and leads, not dashboards. 2, everything is in your name from day one, your domain, your profiles, your accounts, no hostages. And 3, they tell you no sometimes. They push back when you're wrong because they care about the result, not just the retainer. If your agency does those 3 things, keep them. Seriously. Send them a gift basket. Make their day. Because trust me, it's hard to find good business owners or law firms as well. Some of them are flakes. Some of them don't pay their bills. Some of them, they run you ragged doing grunt work instead of actually doing the work that gets them jobs, and then they wonder why they don't get jobs. So when you can find a good fit for both of you, it's very lucrative. Like I said, even good agencies sometimes end up being a bad agency because they get kicked out of the loop. Agency or the law firm or the business owner doesn't allow them access to their marketing material, their numbers, their phone calls and things like that to keep everybody in the same know-how. Because a lot of the times, if at least personally as an SEO agency who does website design and other marketing, I like to look specifically at those because I can go, well, when I look back 6 months, we were doing really good for motorcycle accidents, and now we're not getting any. What happened? Let me see the phone calls. Let me see everything. Then we can pinpoint where they were coming from and how we can get those back. If no one says anything to me or you don't have access to those numbers and such, we can't really help anyone, including ourselves. So thank you for joining the Third Knock podcast, and I hope that this at least helps someone. Remember, check your ownership, check your deliverables, check your keywords, check your invoice, and I hope that you find the agency of your dream, and I hope that the agency of your dream finds the best client they've ever had. So you have a great night, and take care.